Hello, everybody. Thank you again for having me in your space and for allowing me to take up some of your time today. So, welcome back to the Word of God um, live. And I just want to reiterate what that really means. When I was asked by the Creator to do this, He wanted to offer the opportunity for humans to have direct access to His wisdom so that they could form their own opinions, their own perspectives on creation and existence and evolution. And so that really was not only his intention, but the goal is for you to deepen your level of awareness of who you are and why you were created. So it allows for a greater participation, right? We can't participate in something that we don't really understand, right? We don't know what's happening. So we just don't pay attention and we focus on other things. And that's really, what the creator wanted to restore. And that's his intention is to share. And so what he would like to clarify today, there's some aspects of existence that um, there's some misunderstandings out there. And so he wants to explain some of the basics so that you start to expand your awareness of who you are and why you're here at this time. Because humans incarnate, so we come into a human physical existence when we choose to, when there is something that we actually want to explore here. And originally, humans were created to hold space. Okay, so holding space, I mean, I could do hours and hours just describing how to hold space and how that was originally intended. But ultimately, for the for today, we want to focus on the the fact that humans were created to hold space for a very specific energy. Okay, so not all humans for one energy. Every human has its own energy that is contributing to the success of the entire universal experience. And, you know, you may not be familiar with that concept, especially if you've been taught or believe that there is one person or one being who A is overseeing things and B, is leading or is going to save, right? So um, the creator, he wants to help you understand that when, yeah, it's really cool. He's showing me, it's like he's flipping through the Bible and he's saying there's so much miscommunication written in the pages, let alone the interpretations. That's the word that he's using. So ultimately, the Bible is not the foundation of existence, right? And that's where a lot of people get taken aback, right? Because that's their go-to on where to find the truth about existence and the rules of how we're meant to be. And what happens on top of that is then we use those rules as ways to punish ourselves and others. And that's really what he wants to clear up today is there's no such thing as judgment day. There's no such thing as judgment in existence other than the human experience. Humans have been taught and trained to use judgment to ensure we distance ourselves from the truth. That's what we use judgment for. Judgment ensures we don't have to see the truth, even though we know what we're doing and how we're acting or how someone else is acting is inappropriate. Specifically, he wants you to recognize that your actions and your participation, your level of participation, they will never be judged by him. And it's important to understand that because there's only one law in this entire universe, and it is the law of free will. And when you understand free will, all of the illusions melt away. They don't exist anymore, which is exactly why the society we live in was created. It was created to ensure not only that the illusions that were created exist, but that they remain stable. Okay, so in order for illusions to remain in existence, they have to be focused on by at least one human being at any given time. And so they set the entire, I'm gonna, the way it's like rules of society. And so they've set all of these rules and all of these um, limitations up to create the illusion that there are rules. And the truth is, there are none. Because when you are a soul that exists in this universe, you have full awareness of who you are, why you exist, what you're meant to be doing with your vibration, your energy, but you also know why you came into a human life, right? And what it is you want to explore, because that's why we come into and we incarnate into human form, because we're curious. And there is an aspect of existence we are interested in exploring. And I know that concept is challenging, especially when you're going through things that are soul wrenching. They are to the depths of your capacity, and you're challenged every day wondering, is it worth it? Is life worth all this pain and suffering? And that's where the creator comes in, and he really, again, he just wants you to understand that he didn't set this up to see how you could do. He's showing me like a hamster in a cage going around a wheel. That's not what life is. That's not what existence is. He doesn't set it up and, decide where you're going to be and, give you the toys, right? The government created that illusion because that's what they're doing. It's really important to understand those two aspects. The other fascinating and interesting thing is when you begin to recognize that it's funny, a lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about sovereignty, and sovereignty is great, but it's another it's another way of trying to muscle our way in, right? It's like proving that we belong, right? I know I'm sovereign and I can rise above this, right? But when you just feel into, because sovereignty is also, it's got a little bit of drama in it, right? It's got that aspect that says, I need this so I can justify who I am. And what the creator wants you to understand today and every single day is you created this life that you're living with the pieces of your soul existence, with the awareness of your soul and a genuine interest in discovering more about who you are and what you're capable of. And then you came into this world and you're having the experiences you're having as a result of your interest. And here's the other interesting aspect about that is he wants you to understand that, humans, again, we talk a lot about purpose and soul purpose. You have a reason for existing. You were created with a vibration unique to you and no one else that supports one particular dynamic of existence itself in this entire universe. No one else can do it. No one else can hold it. It's yours. And it takes a lot for our brains to accept that, again, because of the world we live in, right? We've been taught that to hold space for others can be exhausting, to hold knowledge and wisdom, you have to have an education, you have to have all these degrees, you know. And again, then that education has taught you to lose your confidence in your own instincts and to learn what someone else has to teach because that person is more valuable than you. And more than anything, the creator wants you to begin to repair the damage done by your belief in a system that is outside of yourself and your soul. And he wants to take you on a little journey today to help resurrect your awareness of self, your power on a universal level, right? And your belief in yourself. And, you know, he wants you to be able to come back and do this as many times as you may choose, whenever you need a lift, whenever you need a reminder of not only how important you are, but that the whole world, the whole universe is working with you, not against you. Because every single one of us has our own mission. And when we are fulfilling our mission, then we contribute to everyone else's. And we've been taught through our society that we need to give to everyone else and starve ourselves. And it's not working because it's not a universal approach. It's a very human and very much an illusion. And that's, he's showing me scales and them coming back into balance. And restoring balance begins with recognition of self. So you recognizing who you are and your vitality, okay? And vitality as a soul so that you have an understanding of just how incredibly powerful you are. And the difference between telling someone how great they are and feeling your own greatness, your own value, your own worth is, well, it's extraordinary because when you can feel it, then no one can stop you. Our challenges become, they feel like brick walls and they feel suffocating and they feel like the air is being taken away from, our very existence when we get caught up in a dynamic where we're following other people's leads, where we're listening and we're trying to find our reason for being inside of these rules that don't make sense. So Gloria says, I feel I should hold space and transmute the energy, what goes through the space. But how can I improve my power to hold the space and handle the energy so the outcome is desirable? Ooh, Gloria, that's a fantastic question. I love that question. Um, the the most important part of all of that is understanding it's the desirable outcome that you're focusing on. And it's recognition that when we have an intention, right? It's about, we talked about this last week, setting intentions, right? intentions are what create the experiences that we have. And so if you're not enjoying how the experiences are unfolding, we need to come back and instill more purity in our intentions. So it's cleaning up the intentions, um, and holding space. It's cool. I can feel how you're holding space. So what they're showing me is, you're sending your energy out, and it's like you're creating a sacred space, but it's still, and then you're in this space of waiting. And waiting is not holding space, okay? Because it's waiting, and then it's almost like you're expecting the desired outcome to just sort of fall into that space that you've set aside. So what it's really cool, because we can see how your approach is actually from a physical perspective of how energy works, right? It's creating that space that you're holding. So what you want to be doing is looking at, mm, holding space is being able to connect and communicate with energy. It's being able to feel what's coming in and allowing yourself to discover how best for you to act and react based on what you're feeling. Okay. We're talking feelings, we're not talking emotions. So it's being able to get underneath the emotions and go directly to the feelings. Okay. Because holding space is allowing for evolution to occur. It's allowing the unfolding of events that are meant to. Okay. And when I say meant to, it doesn't mean, again, creator is not up here deciding how everything's going to unfold. The entire intention for this universe is to allow it to unfold to see what's possible. Okay. So that's why the dynamic of needing to control and having specific space goes against the free will aspect, because it's literally holding it still and holding it steady. Okay. So, in order for us to evolve and participate, we need space to be held, which is exactly what the creator is doing, for us to explore our own potential, which means constant change, which means we're changing our minds. We're going in one direction. Oh, that doesn't feel right. We're going to go in another direction. It's being able to do that, right? So, holding space is allowing yourself to feel and have those reactions. That's holding space. That's what all the universal beings do. That's what we do as souls. And when you can do that for yourself first, then you can also begin to offer it to other humans, right? So holding that space means no matter what experiences I have, I don't have judgment. Okay. Doesn't mean I don't do things that are bad and go, oh, it means when I do something that I'm like, oh, I could have done better, I don't spend any time judging. I actually go, oh, that's not the result I wanted. Okay, focus on the result I wanted. I do not waste time focusing on what didn't work or what didn't feel good. Okay, that's holding space. It's having an intention that you're working towards, a vision for your life, a vision for all aspects of your life. I talk about this a lot. I have a book even that talks about the 7 areas of your life and how to allow them to evolve and come together, because every one of those areas is important, right? There's community, your home, your family, your partner, your journey, your career, your sacred journey, and your soul journey, and your career. And there's one more I can't remember at the moment, but the point is every aspect we should be able to hold space for ourselves, right? It's being able to create an intention that's strong enough. And when I say strong enough, it has to withstand your greatest depths of sadness, grief, depression, um, all of the aspects that we have to deal with in the physical world on a regular basis, right? Your vision has to withstand those. If your vision isn't withstanding them, that means it's not strong enough. It's not in alignment enough, and it doesn't have enough awareness of the truth of who you are. And most of the time, we can't get to that place, to the truth of where we are, because we don't want to admit it to ourselves, because it's scary to think we're we're that significant, right? It's scary to think you're that important and you're that significant. But it's important to understand that on a soul and universal level, importance and significance in your role in the universe isn't a job description. It's not a weight that's placed on you. It's a knowing, oh, this is where I fit. This is who I am. This is what I get to do. And this is where I'm meant to play and explore and discover my own potential, right? It's thinking about, you know, a, a young child who's literally in the joy of exploring, right? They're fascinated by touching their own skin. They're everything they see in nature, any surface, anything. Every single thing is new awareness. That's what you want to come back to that space for, right? Is coming back to that place where holding space is allowing yourself to explore free of judgment. Free. And it's tricky because from the moment you were conceived, someone was already protecting you. They were protecting you, and their intentions were great. But it's understanding that the rules of society have taught us to protect against knowing who we are. Right? One of the most common expressions of that is little babies who are given mitts, brand new newborns, knits, because they might scratch themselves. The most important thing for a newborn human to be able to do is to familiarize themselves with themselves. They need to be able to touch, and they need to be able to feel that touch from themselves. And we block these things. So you're restoring that. That's the connection that needs to be restored, is your ability to feel yourself and to feel not only the truth of who you are, but getting out of the illusions that were created. It's just stepping outside the box, right? And yeah, there's a lot of challenges that are going to come up along the way, right? A lot of beliefs, and really that's the important thing, is you have to remember is they're all beliefs. What's the best thing about a belief? You can change it because they're yours. Doesn't matter who gave them to you. But the more you challenge your beliefs, the more you'll grow and the more wisdom you'll gain. And it doesn't mean every one of your beliefs are wrong. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, and he wants you to look at, and the reason they say we're is because there's a collective, there's a whole bunch of angelics, there's a whole bunch of universal beings now. So it's not just the creator anymore. They're all coming in, and it's lovely, but it's recognition that your beliefs are based on a society, a vision for society. So, an intention that was created specifically and strategically by those who wanted to see if they could interrupt the creator's intention. And it worked. Now, it's taken a couple 100,000 years for it to go this sideways. Again, it's tricky, right? It's tricky to allow your beliefs to expand beyond what we've been taught are the origins of humanity. Because really, no one's really proven anything. If you look at science, it's really funny because we've been taught to look to the label of science to justify our beliefs. And you'll just notice as you go throughout your week how many times you use science to justify why you have a particular belief. But ultimately, this this time that we're living in, this world that you're living in is created by you. And humans have a spectacular capacity to overcome adversity. Think about how many challenges that you've had in your life and you're still going. You're thriving. And even when you're not thriving, even when you're in the thick of the challenge, you're making it through. There's a reason. There's a reason for that. Why do you keep going? Because you know you're meant to. You're not meant to give up. And right now, we have, they're showing me 5 million people who are ready to keep going beyond what's already been revealed and the truths that are already revealed. And now we're going to that place where we need to reveal more. And we have to start to break down the lies about the origins of humanity. Because until you understand the truth of your existence, you'll never have full restoration of the power that you have access to. Okay. So, in the meantime, if I have written a book called Believe, and it is about understanding the fundamental energies, the universal energies that flow through you as a human being. So you can absolutely learn more about that, and they're amazing. I remember when I was writing, when they were giving me the book and sharing it, I learned so much about human existence. And it really helped me find my confidence and my will to pursue truth. That's really what it is. I'm not fighting against anything or anyone. I have zero interest in that because it's a complete waste of time. But what I am interested in is finding my true north, my path that is right for me. And, that's what I consistently come back to. And so when the creator asked me to do these word of God messages, it was with the intention to help as many humans as possible who actually wanted access to not only the truth, but to finding your north and what makes you happy and what brings you joy, because most humans don't even know what brings us joy anymore. How can we in a world where we don't know who we are? Right? So, what we're going to do, it's cool. He's showing me there's so much as the energy is flowing and building throughout this conversation. There's an understanding that you're experiencing the vibration that is you. Okay? And that's your soul that exists within your physical body. Your body cannot exist without a soul. It doesn't work that way. It needs hmm, it needs the vital life force that your soul provides. And as you hmm, he's saying it as you maintain uh, yeah, they want to share something and I'm just okay. So he wants to share more of more of an awareness that I haven't shared before as Michelle, um, but that it's time to start to shine a light on the fact that existence itself is quite what's the words? It's translucent. The truth is just waiting to be seen. We can't see it because we don't believe we can see it. And what he wants you to know and to feel is your direct access to universal awareness is encoded in you. He ensured during the creation of existence as well as humanity. Okay. Every human soul has direct access to the existence of everything in existence and the history of it and the awareness of it. None of this, nothing is lost. There's a lot of, so when the manipulation began a couple 100,000 years ago, again, time doesn't really exist except on the human physical scale. So it's it, it's a general ballpark kind of concept. But when the manipulation began, humanity was, oh, I haven't seen this before. Humanity was gearing up for one of the most explosive and incredible experiences. It we were we were about to create something that had never been created before. So this universe, the way that it is guided, founded, has never been created before. And inside of it, humanity was going to create this fundamentally different experience. So the way I'm seeing it, it's a different vibration. So it's almost like being able to be in this universe and then be in physical form, which is a denser experience. Sorry, that's my dog. And so ultimately, it's recognizing yeah, that this experience that they were creating, man, it was another vibration all on its own, but it needed the awareness of all humans to participate. And so, and it was really interesting because that's right around the same time that we started getting, well, didn't start getting, the manipulation began, period. It began and then it's gone on since then. And so every experience that we've had, we've been partial to, has had one level or more of manipulation. And so that's important to understand is there's so much manipulation inside of your belief system. And in order for you to start extracting the truth, you have to peel back the layers of what's not true. And you can't do it inside of yourself because they're your beliefs, right? So, how do we do it? What does it look like? It looks like having conversations and something comes out of your mouth and you're like, oh, that didn't feel right. That didn't feel good. Or something comes out of someone else's mouth and you're like, that doesn't sound right. Okay. And instead of needing science to prove that it doesn't feel right or it doesn't feel good, it's allowing yourself to feel into what could that mean? Hmm. Okay. And allow yourself to explore because when you ask bigger questions, the answers will always come. They're just not going to come in the ways that we've been taught, again, through our belief system, right? They're not going to come in the form of a book or on the internet or through a phone conversation. They're going to come directly to you because you're that powerful, right? This is, again, another example of the foundation and the strength of your power. So, ultimately, that's what you want to be noticing this week is really starting to pay attention to. We're gonna start to break down the belief systems and how they were formed over the next few months is what they're showing me. So what you want to start to notice this week is look at your beliefs. Okay, look at where they come from. So when you think about something and you go, okay, yeah, this is good to eat. Why is it good to eat? Who told you it was good to eat? Okay. And if you happen to come across a study, don't look at the governing body for the study. Look at the people who paid for the study because the governing body will always deliver to the money, right? And it's important to understand that most of our beliefs are based on money in the world that we live in today. Okay, they're based on the four systems. It's not surprising, it's not shocking, right? We've got the religion, the financial system, the medical system, and the education system. So your beliefs are based there. Even if you're not in any of them. You're still exposed. From the moment you're conceived, you're exposed to all of them because the people that are around you have been exposed to them for generations. This has been going on. The financial system isn't new. It's just become more finite, right? It's funny when, if you think about technology and they keep saying it's revolutionary, it's the most archaic experience we've ever had in the existence of humanity. And yet we continue to participate in a way that makes us believe that it's leading edge. So, what we're going to be doing is we want to restore your true leading edge capacities, your ability to feel into who you are, to recognize yourself, and to have direct access to everything. So, notice this week, notice your beliefs, notice where they come from. And then when you start to notice where they're coming from, kind of ask yourself, is it true? Is it real? Does it feel good for me to hold this belief in my life? And notice when you have arguments with someone, and you're like, no, you have to because this is how it's done. Wait a minute, this is how it's done. Why is it? Right? You don't have to have the conversations with other people. You don't need to bring that drama into your life. Right now, what you're doing is you're feeling into these aspects for you because you're the one that matters. You can't you can't convince people to see truth, right? You can't. It's creating a space, right? Holding space again. It's creating a space where you share truth and you allow them to have their reaction. You don't need to. If you need them to have a specific reaction to what you're saying and sharing, you're not holding space at all. You're holding expectations, control, and manipulation, right? So it's allowing yourself, for me, I'm extracting this wisdom and I am sharing it because I've been asked to share it. That's part of who I am and why I exist. But I'm not sharing it to convince anyone of anything. I don't need to. I feel what I feel and I have an understanding of who I am, right? And that's the goal, is to embody your ability to freely communicate who you are and how you feel in spite of what the rest of the world is going to throw at you. Okay? So, notice your beliefs this week. Let me know how it's going. You can share comments and yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Bye for now.